So, in this lecture session, I am going to present the topic on parallel operation of SCR. This is the concept of the parallel operation. Here, we consider two thyristors, that is thyristor 1 and thyristor 2, which is parallelly connected across the supply voltage, and the voltage or the terminal voltage across the both thyristor, that is same, which is defined by Vt, and the current I1 which can shared by the thyristor 1 and the current I2 which is shared by the thyristor 2. And this is the VI characteristics of the both thyristors. Actually, in this case, normally we had used the parallel operation in case of the high current ratings. Every thyristor has a particular current ratings, but when we are operating the thyristor with a higher value of the currents, then it should be connected in parallel. As we know, in case of parallel circuit, the current will be distributed, voltage remaining same. In case of VI characteristics of the both thyristor, we have taken only the conduction time. That is why this is the conduction period of thyristor T2 and this is the conduction period of thyristor T1. If we assume the internal characteristics of the both thyristor, then if we consider this is V, this is suppose I, then the characteristics will be for thyristor 1, that is this one, and for thyristor 2, that is suppose this one. But in this particular case, the lower part is actually confined for the breakover voltage. That is why we are not focused on this particular case. That is why, as it is working in case of the parallel operation, that is why we have taken the axis over here. Okay, then the VI characteristics will be formed into this manner. So in which we can say that I1 can be shared, that is for the first thyristor, that is first thyristor, and I2 can be shared by the second thyristor, that is for the second thyristor, I2 is shared. But both are actually capable to block the voltage, that is Vt or the terminal voltage across the both thyristors. Okay. Now, when the load current is more than the rated current of the single thyristor, then the thyristors are connected in parallel in a string. From VI characteristics, during forward conduction due to the same voltage drop Vt, SCR1 shares I1 and SCR2 shares I2, much less than I1. Total current taken by the unit, that is I1 plus I2, and not the rated current that is taken from 2I1. So the 2I1 as required. So the string efficiency can be given as, that is I1 plus I2 by 2I1, that should be equal to half into 1 plus I1 plus I2, that always less than 1. Now consider the n number of connected SCRs is there, then what will happen? See, if we consider that is n number of SCR, suppose this is a SCR1, okay, this is SCR2, this is SCR3, and suppose this is SCRn, which is connected, n number of SCRs are connected in a string in this way. And this is the string voltage which is actually defined by Vt or the terminal voltage across all SCRs, as it is parallelly connected, that is the voltage across each SCR that should be same. That means in the first case, for SCR1, the current can be shared, that is suppose I1, and for SCR2, then the current is suppose I2, and for SCR3, the current is, that is I3, and for nth SCR, that is current, that is equal to In. Now consider if SCR1 turn on first, then the question for n minus n number of SCR will be turned on next. If SCR1 turn on first, then what happen? Then the total string voltage that can be shared by SCR1, that means it is behaving like a short circuit, then the no voltage is appearing the n minus 1 number of SCR. That means what? Then the total load current which is shared by SCR1. Suppose we are trying to increase the voltage again to turn on the n minus 1 number of SCRs. Then what happened? Then huge amount of voltage stage can be occurred across the first SCR. Okay. Then what happened? Due to high voltage stage that is coming from the supply, then SCR1 can be permanently damaged. So this is not the required. So what we will do? Consider the another case. Suppose n minus 1 number of SCR can be fired first, then the question for the first SCR. Then the total load current that will be shared by the n number of SCR. That means what? That means voltage drop across the n minus number of SCR is very low. That means almost they all are behaving like a short circuit. That is why SCR1 there is a no voltage. To fire the SCR1, we should implement a huge amount of voltage that is called actually finger voltage. If we are increasing the supply voltage above finger voltage, then again huge number of voltage stages can be occur across the n minus 1 number of SCRs. Then n minus 1 number of SCRs can be damaged permanently. That means the voltage distribution is not equally, that is why voltage is not distributed properly across each parallelly connected SCR throughout the string. As on the other hand, you can say in case of the current terms, suppose SCR n minus 1 number of SCRs are fired first, then it is able to permit the actual load current. That means no current is entering across the first SCR as it is parallelly connected. That is, to fire SCR1, we will provide the more voltage. That means the current stage across the SCR1 will be increased. That means it will provide the huge heat across the junctions or reverse bias junction, that is J2. That is why J2 can be permanently damaged due to overheat phenomena. That is why we should implement the perfect heat sink through which we can we can provide the equal amount of current across the whole SCRs. Okay. So that will be more detailed is given in my next slide. See, n minus 1 SCRs will turn on first. Then what happened? Voltage drop across n minus 1 SCRs fall to a low value. SCR1 is then subjected to that low voltage. For the given gate drives power, anode to cathode should have an minimum forward biasing voltage for SCR1 that is required and which is called a finger voltage. Just I have discussed before. Below it, SCR1 will be off. Remaining SCRs are already on. That means what? It will have share the entire load current. So to make turn on SCR1 will give the more than finger voltage. This extra amount of the voltage is actually overloaded the SCRs. Over current starts flowing, overheat developed and damaged all n minus 1 number of SCRs. To be very precisely, again we can say if SCR1 is parallel unit of the particular string, that means we can say more junction temperature can be increased in the first SCR due to dynamic resistance and decreases the current stage. That is why junction temperature increases again, dynamic resistance decreases again. That means what? It is a kind of cumulative process and due to which it again developed a huge amount of heat across the first SCR which is quite capable to damage the SCR1 permanently. So that is why the concept of heat sink is very important to implement for the parallel operation. Because if we can implement a proper kind of heat sink through which we can mount the all SCRs, then heat sink can take the extra amount of heat through which we can share the equal amount of current throughout the all n number of SCRs. Therefore, SCRs are to be operated in parallel. It should be ensured that they operated at the same temperature. This can be achieved by mounting the parallel unit in one common heatsink. Suppose this is the first heatsink I am given over here. Okay, means in the parallel heatsink means SCR 1, 2, 3. In this way, the n number of SCR should be connected in parallelly. But here is a problem. As the first SCR, which can share the minimum amount of current, but in case of the second SCR, which is having the place between the two another SCR 1 and 3, that is why due to inductive effect, it can capable to share the maximum stress, current stress. That is why SCR 2, there is a tendency that is SCR 2 can be damaged. That means the current is not equally distributed due to presence of this kind of heat sink. So to protect this phenomena, we can apply the heat sink in this way. Here, the all SCR are having the same amount of the inductive effect. That is why current across the each SCR that should be same. That is why we can say unequal current distribution in the parallel unit is also caused by the inductive effect of the current carrying conductor. Middle conductor will have more inductive because more flux leakage. Okay, that is taken from the other two SCRs, from two nearby SCRs. This unequal current distribution can be varied by mounting the SCRs symmetrical on the heatsink that I had discussed just in this way. That is a symmetrical shape of the heatsink. But yet there might have some problem. To solve this problem, we can have them some another approach. See, we can connect these SCRs through a proper inductive channel or proper inductor, and the middle point of the inductor are tapped. That means the number of turns in this part and the number of turns of this part both will be same. That means inductive effect of L1 and the inductive effect of L2 both will be same. That means under steady state operation, the current which starts flowing across the first SCR and the current which starts flowing across the second SCR, the both magnitude remaining same. But under any circumstances, suppose consider the I1 is greater than I2. What happened? If I1 is greater than I2, then the inductive effect across this part that will be high enough with respect to this part. That means due to inductive effect of L1, it will oppose the current flow of I1. Is a normal property of inductor. As per the Lentz's law, when the current starts flowing across any inductor, then it can produce an back EMF as per the Faraday's laws of electromagnetic induction. And as per the Lentz's law, this back EMF, the nature of this back EMF is that is always try to oppose the original current. As the same phenomena, we can say when the I1 is greater with respect to I2, then the inductive effect of L1 that should be greater with respect to the inductive effect of L2. That is why it will provide, it can oppose this I1, and as the inductive effect of L2 is less with respect to the inductive effect of L1, that means it can permit or pass this current I2. That means I1 should be opposes by this inductive effect L1 and I2 should be boosted up by this inductive effect of L2. Additionally, what happened? The both magnitude of the current will attain the same value. That means by using this particular kind of inductor, we can share the equal amount of current for the both thyristors. That means the current will be distributed throughout the string for n number of thyristors that will be equally distributed. Okay, this is called actually parallel operation, and in this way we can distribute the same amount of current for each thyristor in case of the parallelly connected string. So we can conclude that the trapped point A is midpoint of the reactor, and the anode current I1 equal to I2, that is for steady state operation or normal operation, okay, without any disturbance. If under any circumstances, under these circumstances, the flux produced by the two halves of the reactor opposes each other. That means opposite flux that is cancelled by each other. There was no problem. That was I1 and I2 with same magnitude can be operated very smoothly. But the problem has arisen, one voltage drop in the reactor. If I1 and I2 unequal under any disturbance condition, then what happen if assume I1 greater than I2, then the resultant flux then the result flux leakage is not zero. Previously, when I1 and I2 both are in same magnitude, then the inductive effect for L1 and L2 both was same. That is why both inductive effect were cancelled by each other, then the net outcomes was zero. That is why we can say there is no disturbance. If I1 greater than I2, in this scenario what happened? Then EMF across L1 that should be greater than EMF across L2. That means L1 oppose the current flow of I1, whereas as that cross the L1 oppose the current of I1, whereas that occur L2 add the current of I2. That means I1 should be less, whereas the I2 should be boosted up. This is thus the depending on the back EMF E1 and the boost I. It was my mistake. This is thus the tendency is back of I1 and boost of I2. Okay, just I told you before. So as to minimize the unbalance of the currents in the parallel unit as I1 increases and I2 decreases, through which we can say the current is equally distributed during parallel operation. Okay. So thank you for your kind attention.